Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Rogan Smith, who has a nice little juicy looking, what's that, a Coke? What is a Gombe?
This?
Uh-huh.
No, this is a Pepsi.
Oh, okay, sorry.
They don't.
It's a beverage.
It's KFC.
Yeah, it's a beverage.
KFC doesn't, one of our sponsors doesn't carry that.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So, marketing deals is what they call them.
So, Coke is one of our sponsors, but KFC is as well.
Mm-hmm. So, everything's good? Everything's kosher?
Everything is great. I had a fantastic weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean...
Like the whole weekend was fun-filled? By the way, before I do that, how's your stepfather?
He's doing so much better. Boy, prayer and lots of love. He's recovering. All of it.
Yes.
All of it.
So,
all of it.
He's recovering?
Yes, he is.
Is he home?
No, he's still in the hospital. He says he's getting strong like a lion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So that's
like a lion.
Good. Like a lion in Zion.
All right.
So that's great news. No, but my weekend was I don't usually come in here and say, I had a fantastic weekend, but from Friday, Saturday, Sunday was really good.
Okay, let's go with Friday. What's happening there?
What happened on Friday? Well, Friday I was just with family, and it was really good. Just spent a lot of time with them. And that might seem so boring, but I don't always get the chance to be with everybody at the same time. So that was awesome, just cracking jokes and all that stuff. Saturday.
Just stop by one of these days and just hang out with the fam.
I actually need you to come by to do the thing. Remember how I tell you the wire hanging in my house? What? Since you're coming by anyway.
I stopped. I said I'm going to stop by to hang with the fam. And instead, I'm going to come by to hang. And to hang something.
Just tell me what you say I need to get from Kelly's again to the strip.
Conduit, the strip.
It's just called a conduit
strip?
Well,
you'll see it. Just tell me you're trying to hide somewhere.
Yeah. So anyway, Saturday. I'm putting you to work. Anyway, you could definitely.
I'm not coming to your side. I'm coming by Ellie's side.
Anyway, you're gonna come. You're gonna come and deal with this on Saturday for me. So anyway, on Saturday we went. I took my mom because I had won a 2-night stay at a hotel. So I held on to it because I said I was going to take her for Mother's Day. But before that, we went to...
You just want to say which hotel or no?
It's on Paradise Island, but but it was nice.
It's a hotel.
And and then we went to John Bull, who was having a Mother's Day special.
And then give away one bag.
Celebration. Oh, my God.
Because I have my bag.
That's an old one.
No, it doesn't matter.
What is that, 85? For the 85th anniversary?
That's correct.
This
it's
one is the 90th. It's the diamond.
No, this is a collector's item.
And it's beautiful.
Well, we have mine. That's mine's there.
No. You have your pink bag.
No, but you could want to use that.
But guess what? I won something. This
what
is
did
so
you
amazing.
What did you win?
Listen, so you had to shop, right? Well, you didn't have to shop in order to be entered into the raffle, but I literally entered the raffle.
Why don't come on soda?
1 minute. You could have this. 1 minute before they drew my name. You understand? So I was in there shopping. We were having a good time because they had all these photo booths and they had the food and the drinks and the candy and the pastries and all that stuff.
Is that PI?
No, just right downtown, Bay Street.
Okay. All right.
And 1 minute before, I was like, you know what? I've been in this store for hours and I didn't even put my name in the basket.
Well, that's why you went. Yours was on top.
No, they still shook it up. That's the same thing my mommy said, but they shook it up. They shook it up. Yeah, man, they shook it up. And they said, Hope was there because she was the MC. She's like, Smith? And I was buying something and I said, they need to call Rogan Smith. And then she was like, Rogan Smith. Well, child, I lost my mind.
Yeah. They shake up the bag. You can't buy the thing the last second. Then they shake up the bag and you win.
A minute before, my mom threw it in there. Boom.
Anyway, what you win?
I won a gift certificate. And I used it in the Tory Burch store. It was really good.
That's how they will.
Then, because this is a full weekend, I went to the Twilight Electric Festival over Paradise Island. And that was absolutely amazing. Cabaret
I think they're
style.
one of our sponsors now. Well, no, another Atlanta singer is our sponsor. I'll tell you.
Okay.
But it was good.
Let me tell you. I felt like I was on a board. I didn't even feel like I was in the Bahamas, and I think that's a great thing. It just felt like I was somewhere in California because they had the big Ferris wheel outside and so many great picture-taking opportunities. But it was a cabaret and circus, and it was just so entertaining and fun. I really had a good time. I went with my brother and my two of my friends, so we had a blast. So it was really good.
So that's Saturday.
That's Saturday.
What happened Sunday?
I eat plenty, did some shopping. Slept for a couple good hours, enjoyed the view, the ocean. It was just really good. Spent time with my mommy. You know, you got to appreciate your parents while they're here. So it was really good.
Well, good. That's good.
It was really good. What you doing your boring weekend? Besides pick your teeth? I'd get your whack massage that you've been getting for the last 600 years. Yeah, pick your teeth.
I had, I got some work going on in my house, so I had to do some sort of pseudo supervision, SS. And actually,
I think
PS.
P.
Yeah, but I want people out there to know it's S. So I had to do that. I then had to go buy, your Mother's Day stuff. Because I kind of, on Friday I left my office and I can get it there.
You say you want some Minnesota?
No, that's okay. I don't.
Sure?
I don't.
Why, you think I backwash?
No. I had to go out and get that, and then I went to a function for Reach. They had a charity auction and a jazz thing, and I tell you, it was a good band. And I got a couple of items. You know what item I got? Rogan Smith, for a decent price, which shall not be stated. There's an accommodation for 8 days anywhere in the world. That's not the plane ticket. I got to get there. But, accommodation is expensive. So if you get, it's like a timeshare. No, I think it's like a timeshare entity. Oh. So, you'll get a good, but anywhere in the world, I could take that. You know what I'm saying? So I got that, and then I got a painting, which was a nice piece of work. So I did that.
Your mom, where was she buried?
Woodlawn.
Do you go to visit, like, the grave?
I'm not a grave visitor, no.
Never? From she passed?
No, I have not. Maybe once, maybe, but I not.
You wouldn't go, like, to put, like, the flowers on?
No, yeah, it's not a thing. And then on Sunday, I went to church. Yeah, it's a big joke. Hold
on. Skirt. Kendrick, I don't even think that you heard that. You went to church or by church? To pick somebody up. You went to church or by church?
What words did you hear me say, sir?
I asking you for clarification.
No, but I asked the technician.
You went to church?
Yeah, there's no need to go Jurassic.
You went to church.
You're going reptilian.
What you going to church for?
Well, it's Mother's Day.
It's been Mother's Day before.
I've gone before. Yeah, but but the thing is, and you know why I don't go? Well, I don't go because I don't want to go. But the reason why I don't go is because when you go, they have to make a big deal.
Because you don't go to church.
They have to make a big deal. Everyone have to come over and say yeah, and all kind of things. The priest, father, have to go. He comes and that. So I have to answer back, yeah. Okay? And the priest. So I just, it's a thing. So I went and I did the thing and I got out. So, and then we had food.
Your favorite part?
Well, actually, you say that. But I'm now in a mode, man, where I'm disgusted by food, to be honest with you. I mean, no, it's
after you just finish eating.
No, you see, I ate 2 pieces, and I don't want it because it's like I'm just tired of all the eating. You realize, I mean, and this is a sign of a fairly well-to-do society, right? There's a lot of eating going on in this. You told me about the thick people. There's a lot of thick people.
Are you one of those thick people?
I am thick.
Okay.
I'm not just you semi-thick.
I know semi-thick.
You semi-thick.
No boss.
No boss.
No big man. Let me tell you something.
No big man.
I have
you skinny.
Body parts.
You skinny?
Kendrick.
You skinny?
Let me tell you what I have. What is throwing you off?
Okay, tell me what I have. That's throwing me off.
Round,
face.
Chubby face.
So chubby. You use the word chubby?
Yeah, I use the word because I have a round face, very angelic, and I have big boogers. Okay, but look at my body. I'm gonna stand up. I'm nowhere
Come here.
No, I gotta come over there. You can see. This is not a thick body. This is
it's a thin
body.
It's a thin, slim and trim.
Look.
Listen, all I said, no pause. All I said is to you see, this is why people they ask you things, right? I am not saying this in a critical way.
Look.
I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm saying that you. All right, I'm going to retract. I'm going to retract.
Because you ain't know what thick
Excuse
is.
me. I'm going to. No, I know what thick is, and it ain't thick. It's thick. And I'm saying to you, I'm going to give you a quarter thick. Quarter thick.
That's because of this and this.
No,
and
you
these.
can't tell me what it's because of.
What
I'm looking at some thick buns. Okay, some thick buns. And I mean quarter thick, not quarter thick. Yeah, let's put it this way. You know what my wife always tells me? Let me give you this saying, and you should be grateful for this. Why I call you semi-thick. No, quarter. Quarter. Yes, she's accepting the quarter now. Let me tell you why I say this. Meat for man, bone for dog. You don't want to be no bone. You don't want to be bony. You want to be bony?
Mm-hmm.
So you want dogs sniffing around you?
Yes.
No, but you want man.
No.
Okay. All right then. Okay, you're bony then.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Oh God, where did I come from?
If I show you what thick is?
No, I didn't say thick.
We off the air, right?
No,
we're not off the air?
No.
Oh,
I said quarter. A quarter. You're like a quarter. A quarter. Okay. We'll be right back. It's always something in the world. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll resolve
luckily, at least you got someone.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they know where. Anyway, we'll work it out. Fortunately, tonight is not a function that was happening to my house because it's tomorrow. So anyway, having said all of that, what's today? Monday? Yeah.
Yeah.
What went on? What else went on the weekend? Anything? Just Mother's Day, the big Mother's Day.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
Day.
It's a big deal. We go through this every year. That's the thing I like about life. It's the same repetition.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because we'll go through this and then we'll talk about how badly, or in fact, not illy, fathers are treated. You know, it's just a big deal.
People still talking badly about that?
Well, it's not that they're talking badly. They're not talking about it. No, the Father's Day doesn't happen.
I have to disagree. I've found that in recent years, the fathers have gotten a greater amount of attention.
Okay. Well, let me say this, Rogan Smith, to you.
Marketing dollars and just people's, the general sentiments. People are very excited about Father's Day now.
Okay.
Not to the level of mothers,
okay.
but still.
Let me say this to you, Rogan Smith, and I'll ask Ken, the other penile person in the house. How does Father's Day, what do you want to fare in your house versus, say, the big MD?
What is MD?
Mother's Day.
Oh, you already know about it. Well, my father, I didn't grow up with my father.
No, but I was talking to Ken.
Oh,
I said the other penile person.
Yeah, but then you look at me.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
So that's what I was saying. I don't know about that.
Okay. How does it?
Come on, air again.
How does it? How does it? Add up, measure up. That's the word. Yeah. How does it measure up?
Well, my Rugrats, they're not here now, so.
Oh, so MD, you don't care since the Rugrats are here.
Yeah.
Because in the world of MD, whether the Rugrats here or not, okay, we better come true. Because the Rugrats ain't really buying nothing. It's usually the other partner who's doing what we call the DO.
What is the DO?
The dishing out.
Oh.
Okay. But it's good. It's all good. How is Illy? She had a good Mother's Day? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know her husband is in the hospital now, but she is very grateful that he's doing well. Yeah, she's
grateful he's doing well. So she just had a great time. We ate a lot.
You went to some brunches?
We ate breakfast, lunch, dinner.
So you had lunch,
bliner. We had bliner.
What you had for brunch, man?
We didn't have brunch.
You had lunch.
Breakfast and then lunch.
Okay, what you had for lunch?
Dinner.
On yesterday. This is yesterday.
What I had for lunch yesterday?
Yeah. Because that's usually the big time.
I had like lamb.
Oh, okay.
Seafood lasagna, different stuff.
Yeah. What they usually throw at us, just if it's going to be like satisfactory to us and we'll be happy, is your crab and rice. That's their thing in the Bahamas.
What'd you say again? Fried fish.
Fried fish. Yeah. That's what they usually throw at us. And y'all take that and don't.
You know why I think it is?
Why is that, baby?
Because we have so many households headed up by single mothers.
Uh-huh.
And yes, you're there for your daughter.
I'm trying to do my one eye up, but I can't do it. So let me do it.
You're there for your daughter. Ken is there for his kids, but that's not the norm.
Yeah, well, let me just throw this at you.
That's not the norm. So we give the ladies a lot of love.
Can I throw something at you? Can I throw a potential thing at you? So hence. Oh, yeah. So hence, okay, all the more reason, Okay? Why they should be celebrating the few, the proud, the Marines.
But they
Why?
do. The people whose fathers in the house or who's been in their lives, they get celebrated immensely.
Yeah, I love the Sox. Love them. No, not these. I'm talking about in general.
That's what you go.
See, I can't look at that. And if I look at something, you think I'm looking at it. I just mean in general.
Turn my head this
Turn
way.
your head. So no, it's good.
No, but it's good. I have to send a shout out to one of my neighbors who listens to the show. She loves the show, Denise Lowe. So thanks,
Hey,
Denise.
Denise
I know
Lowe.
you're listening.
Oh, I know Denise. I know Denise.
You sure you know Denise?
Denise is my massage's sister, and she told me she listens to
What
and
is
she
this-
told me
it's a small
that's
world.
how Denise listens to the show all the time.
Oh, man, she can say what we said on this show.
I know
said,
Denise very well.
She's a sweetie pie.
Yeah.
And of
Hi,
course
Denise.
to Kevin. From
Hola,
Tropical Gyros.
Denise.
Kevin from Tropical
She's
Gyros.
big on Spanish. Denise is Espanol. So, now, having said that, yesterday, Ken, this is probably more for Ken and I, the final, the second to last got Game of Thrones. You ain't watch it? Oh, Lord,
I heard people were
I can't
disappointed, though.
I wasn't.
They were disappointed. So,
What's that?
okay, I got to say it off the air. Never
What?
mind. Mm-mm.
Let me know. What?
No, I have to say off the
Okay.
air.
No, so listen, man. I can't share with you then.
Before we,
You don't want to know it.
yeah.
All right. So I know how to do it without spoiling, right? Let's just say
He's
your
already spoiling
girl. No, I'm not. I haven't even said anything.
Just like you do your
Your
face.
girl Khaleesi. That's all I'll say. Yeah, man.
You just spoiled it.
Hey, no, man. A woman scorned. Don't fool with them.
And with a dragon.
Hui. With their own place.
And I don't even
Hey,
watch that
you
show.
don't want no woman with their own place in a dragon.
Let's go over the personal dragon.
Because hey, that's what when they say a woman scorned. What is it? Hell has no fury.
like a
No, they
woman
bring it hell.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh yeah, no, that's it's going to be interesting. The last episode.
This is coming to an end, right?
Next week is the last episode.
You've been watching this series from the beginning?
So when Game of Thrones first came on, it was very interesting. I watched a couple of weeks, and then I thought, because I'm not good at watching series every week. You got to watch the thing because you got things to do, all that kind of stuff. So I forgot. I just kind of, it went by. And then right now, because this is the last, I'm shocked that it's on in 7 seasons. Apparently, 8. Well, anyway,
Wow, that's long.
I had just, and then one day turn on the TV, I see. This is not even on Netflix. Game of Thrones. They had for the month of March, Rogan, Game of Thrones 24/7. Okay, so I was able to catch up. You know how many people in this town? I got to get home. I got to get home. I saw one episode. I mean, I say one every episode at least 8 times.
Oh.
And it didn't matter if you caught it in the middle because you could catch up. I've never seen that done before, where they play the whole previous seasons on one channel, 24 hours. So I was able to catch up, and so very quickly, I was able to say, okay, you know what, I only got to watch 6 more to get,
I feel like this is one of those shows that, like, once it's off the air, like 2 years later, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, now I understand how good. I never watched Sex in the City when it was on the air ever. I thought it was boring, and then when it went off the air, they just had it in syndication or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this show is so fantastic. And then like several other series are like that. So I just can't get. I tried to give Game of Thrones a chance one day, and I was like, this is so boring to me.
No, you got to start
This
from
is
the
so
beginning,
boring to
and
me.
then I don't know. I mean, I'm giving you your props. I don't know how you could put it in the category of boring. You might say, well, this isn't for me or whatever, but because
was
listen,
boring to
and
me.
let me tell you if I can, and I know this because you see the thing about Game of Thrones is like how you're the hero. Well, we'll kill you today. See, you're the hero in season 1, and you're the hero and you're the king. Rogan Spit is the queen who everyone loves. Oh, but she can get killed next week.
What's the premise behind this show?
It's the whole premise is that there's 7 kingdoms, and I don't know if I'm synopsizing this correctly, and it's a big fight for control of the 7 kingdoms. There's one throne. What is it called? The Iron Throne. The Iron Throne, and whoever possesses that throne is the king of all the kings. They have many kings. Each kingdom has a king, but this Iron Throne is the big enchilada. And so it's a big tussle. A lot of killing. Because, I want to be king and treat people before me. See, that's the other thing. You go back to the days of the medieval days when Henry and, Edward and George and all these people, they didn't really fool around with that election thing too much. I want to be the king because, let's face it, you're living in the town or time when you ain't got a lot of stuff going on. They don't have a lot of sanitation. It's funky. But the fellows who live in that castle, they got it good. They got the food. They got the girls. They have some bathroom action going. They have various benefits that it's the place to be. So if you are now, say, 4 removed from total control, well, I'm 38. Roganna's 60. No, Roganna's 29. She's the queen. Let's do the math on that. If I have to wait for her to die, I'm not really going to be the king.
So you get a killer.
And then, unfortunately, there's 3 other people
in line
before her. I mean, before me, for me to be, and they are they 14 and they.
Oh, you got to do some elimination.
I got to kill them, man, because I need to be the king. And that's what they did. They just killed, that plot. I would be afraid of, and they had people who tasting. I don't know who wanted that job. The taster's job.
To taste your food and stuff?
Because people poison you.
Has there been an episode where someone was tasting and they
Oh, yes, man.
I don't want
baby, listen. There are episodes, let me tell you how dread is, where they kiss you.
They dread is.
Okay? They kiss you.
Put poison on the lips?
Poison on the lips, and then they go and wipe the poison thing off, and they take an antidote.
Yeah. Boom.
And when you look, next thing you're frothing.
Ooh, I like that.
See, you like it like that. Okay? They had all kinds of plots, man. Let me tell you, because we've all seen it, so this is a pass. Let me tell you how dread they are.
But I watch it, man. But anyway,
but I got to tell you this one.
For the next 2 years.
Let me tell you this one thing. So there's a plot where this woman wanted to kill everyone because they had hurt her family, etc., and she was able to change faces, etc. So she went into the ballroom and said, okay, well, we're going to celebrate the victory over the Starks and the this and the that. So we're not going to drink the bad stuff. We're drinking the good stuff. She poisoned everyone.
How much people it was?
About 100.
She poisoned all that?
All. They're drinking it. Oh, yeah. You remember that one?
I like that.
And next thing, boom.
All them dead. She has the antidote.
No. She never drank.
Oh, I thought she drank.
And she told the servant girl who was pointing by, no, we're not wasting the wine on you.
Oh, boom. She was able.
Because I ain't got nothing against you.
At least she got a heart.
Yeah. Or you have a wedding, for instance, a wedding thing where they come to the wedding. And then next thing you know, with the musicians, they thought, they were the orchestra of the top. No, they're archers.
Oh, no.
And they kill everyone in the wedding.
I like that.
Hey!
I'm going to find that episode on YouTube. I like stuff like that.
So, no, it's intriguing because you don't know what angle they're coming from and who, So we're now at the point now we only must see about 3 people left. Everyone dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you see, this convoy is taking place tonight, 9 o'clock.
A convoy
to take the generators.
Ooh.
So check this out.
Did you go to the Thingham?
I couldn't make it, and guess what? I wanted to because I was at the John Bull event, and then I had to check in. I saw lots of people out there.
I hear it was fantastic.
I passed by. I felt so bad.
And in fact, one person said to me, "Boy, you see them generators? We can be straight, boy."
2 miles per hour is how fast they can travel.
I gotta hurry get home.
So,
when they start that?
9 p.m.
Okay.
So check this out. From Arawak Key to Saunders Beach Roundabout, it's going to take estimated time 60 minutes. An hour.
From Arawak Key to
Saunders Beach Roundabout.
Don't take that route. How they get down that roundabout? And then they go which way?
Then Saunders Beach to Bahamar Boulevard, an hour and 50 minutes.
I'd like to just be somewhere to see that.
I would like to see
that. An hour and 15 minutes to Bahamar Boulevard?
1 hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Bahamar to Gladstone Road, 30 minutes.
Bahamar to Gladstone Road. And they got to go up that hill. They better don't let them
things
slip.
Check this out. Gladstone Road roundabout to Old Fort Bay. I know we got to go roundabout 3 hours and 27 minutes. Jesus.
Well, at least that's 2 lanes.
I'm tired just listening to this.
At least it's 2 lanes. So you can go past it and check it out, man, Ken.
Old Fort Bay to Mount Pleasant, an hour and 10 minutes, and then Mount Pleasant to BPL Clifton site, an hour and 45 minutes.
They got to go up that hill by Lyford Key, by Island House.
Jesus.
But just when you hear the
7
guy tell me,
generators.
they had 146 wheels on one trailer. You know why? If they get a flat, they can't be based on no tire tread change.
Take sick tread. That's only the first
What
phase.
does that really mean? Mother takes sick.
That it mean a wide variety of things. Mother takes sick tread. That's
sick.
Unbelievable. Okay. Mother takes sick
tread. And how did
tread.
we get in the Bohemian vernacular to equate unbelievable with mother takes sick?
Because that's how we do it.
Because mothers don't take sick? It's all unbelievable? All right, we'll be right back.
Get loose and unwind, set me free and let me run.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Rogan Smith. How you say the name? Fran Sean. Fan.
Like I'm a fan of Sean's.
Okay. Why add the R?
Yeah, it's Damien and you don't.
Hey?
Huh?
Why do I add an R?
I don't know.
Fan Sean.
You can put Fran Drescher?
Or something with Fran. Okay, well, let's dig up the road by Fan Sean.
Oh, I love
My favorite song. Listen, when we were involved with the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival, and I heard that song, I said, okay, there you went. That's it.
When it's so epic and so mashable.
Mm-hmm.
I make that up.
You know, you can be up in the road jumping up on that.
Yes.
And you know, all the elements like dig up, which is, we could identify with that. See, we'll have a connotation for dig up, right? And other people will have another connotation for it. But that's the kind of thing you want. You want where people can feel, their thing. So, listen, something that we haven't spoken about, and we don't get into it too much, but I want to find out it is the second anniversary, the 10th was, of the FNM, the new government. And I suppose people have mixed opinions about what it is, but I just thought I'd mention it, that was a milestone, 2 years, 2 whole years. But you just finished reading the thing about the power, that road thing.
Yeah.
That's a dig up the road. Jeez. That's going to take, 7 hours in total?
Let me see here.
60 minutes, 1.5 hours to the thing.
3,
That's about 6 hours,
7,
man.
8, 9, like 10 hours.
Hey, let me tell you, can I give a bit of advice to them?
10 hours.
Take your time.
Well, they're going 2 miles per hour.
Take your time. There ain't no beeping on that.
We don't. You know what?
No beeping. No beep beep.
Well, all I can say is get off the road, but not even at 9 o'clock because it starts
Stay
at
out,
9.
But I guess
just go straight up. Yeah, most people will be home anyway.
Yeah, and if you need to go west, I mean, one good thing is this: between JFK, by Gladstone Road, right? The Flamingo roundabout. Yeah, from there to the airport, there's no one lives on that. You can go to West Ridge from Gladstone Road side, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't need to be on that road. Okay, and then they're going to go from Old Fort. From Old Fort, you got some people there, but if you live in Tropical Gardens, go West Bay Street. You got a new road to get to that on. There's no one who lives on the left-hand side of the road to Old Fort, right? Except if you live at Venetian.
Yeah.
You see, because
houses.
No, on the left-hand side. No, not up until when you go from the airport to the supermarket. The
Old Fort.
The plaza. There are no houses on it. You got the airport, you got the Consolidated, and then you have Venetian, which is the houses you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
So you have that. So you're gonna have to worry about that. And then when you go from Old Fort to Lyford Key, you got some houses. Now once you get on that road,
that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
But let me see. And I can tell you one thing. What? If you live in Venetian, if you see, well, I guess you just have to wait for the roundabout for them to pass around. You can go on the, on the West Bay Street side, and if you see them coming, park your car.
Just park and walk home.
Park your car. No, just the roundabout. You only got to worry about the roundabout.
You say only
2 miles a minute.
2 miles per
an
hour, right?
That's 2 miles an hour. But that ain't a mile. To go around the roundabout ain't a mile.
That's all right.
Francis Smith. Okay, I call you Fanchon Smith.
Fanchon.
Okay, it's not going to take an hour to go around the roundabout.
Right,
although I'll tell you something though, I have a feeling the roundabout could be a little slower than the normal 2 miles. They're gonna have to go over them roundabout.
What it could be. That's interesting to watch.
It's engineering. That's what you got. But they planned that out. They had to plan that out. Because, they couldn't cut the generator in little pieces and take it. Man, I'm going to go see that. I want to see them now.
Oh, okay. Take some pictures and send it to me.
Yeah,
No, send
I got to
video,
find a
video.
place, Ken, where I could see it, where it's not in my way. I could turn around and go the other way, Like maybe if you go to Saunders Beach.
see.
If you go to Saunders Beach, and then because they're going to go up toward the Six-Leg Highway, right? No, they go into Bahamar.
No, Bahamar Boulevard.
Yeah. So what you got to do is go like on one side of Bahamar Boulevard and park there and watch that.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine, though?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, listen, we got two folks coming in pretty soon. We have Ulrich Vogus, and we have my good friend Israel Johnson, who is an interesting cat, as we say. We're going to come in on talking about historical collections, his life, and the Central Bank exhibition that's coming on. By the way, talking about things of interest, and I don't know if there are different categories because, in the States they got these things where they put things in the best and the longest and the first, and you don't know because everyone is the best and the first and the longest. But apparently Michelle Obama's autobiography is the biggest selling autobiography of all time.
Oh, have
Close
you
to
read it?
11, close to 11 million books sold so far.
That's incredible.
Okay. By the way, Bohemian and that,
Pardon me?
I said Bohemian and that.
Oh, in the book purchases.
In the book. No, in the book.
What do you mean in the book?
David Maynard and that bite.
Oh.
Apparently, David Maynard,
Who's that?
who is the brother of Allison Gibson Maynard,
Oh, okay.
went to Princeton with Michelle Obama, and she refers to him because she knew him when they was in school. Bohemian and that book, boy, in the all-time best autobiography.
Okay.
See how we go? We're in the best.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back. Just like you didn't make that connection between Denise Lowe.
How would I have?
I don't
made that
know.
connection?
No.
I don't even know what was your masseuse's name.
Yeah, but you see, because I knew that Denise lived on your road.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your masseuse's name?
Lynn.
Okay. Yeah. I know.
You're going to say yeah?
No,
Do you know
I
Lynn?
didn't know Lynn.
Okay,
I didn't.
okay,
I didn't know that was her name.
But they
Lynn.
Denise. So our guests this afternoon are Mr. Israel Johnson and Mr. Ulrich Vogus. Did I do that very German?
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yes. No.
And because you see, in the Bahamas, what would we say for Ulrich? We'd say Ulrich.
Yeah.
That's how we roll. We say Ulrich. You don't want to say Ulrich.
Ulrich.
Yes.
Whenever I go to Starbucks, I say they should just write Jack on my cup.
All right, so listen, I got to talk to you about this young man, Israel Johnson, because I guess we met about 2.5 years ago, maybe.
Yep.
Something like that. Walked in my office. Actually, had contacted Stuart Bowe from over in Atlanta, saying that he wanted to come to talk to us about the possibility of setting up a museum with his artifacts. So, when you see these things, and I'm going to give you this history. When you see these things, it's easy to be dismissive because one time ago when I used to work at The Guardian, this guy walks into my office. I think I may have told you this one. We've had many conversations. This guy walked into my office and he said, look, you got to come to my house. My house is on, I forget where it was, Lifeboy Street or somewhere like that, because I've discovered gold in the Bahamas. Okay? And, it's like, okay, I really can't make it, man. I got Mr. Fields, I'm very serious. He presented himself as very serious. You've got to come to the house because I've discovered gold and we're missing out on a big thing. So I said, okay. My editor said, just go with him, see what you got. When I get to the brother house, he got rocks all over the place. Okay? He got rocks on the bed, rocks under the bed. It's just rocks. But in his mind,
That's the gold.
that's the gold. So I said, no problem. So when Mr. Johnson came to me, and I told him the story, and he said, listen, I got a wide selection of stuff here, and we're going to make a museum. I said, what do you do? He says, I'm a boxer. We're going to get to that in a second, okay? I said, look, man, okay, fine. Come. We'll talk it. I figure now, 15 minutes max. We're going to be done. We'll be there for about 2 hours or so, right?
Yes.
So I want to introduce you to Israel Johnson, who, first of all, tell us about, Israel, your career as a boxer. And first of all, how old are you?
I'm 22.
22 years old.
I'll be 23 in October.
Right. And I keep on forgetting the name. I call him because I know I said it
Start
wrong.
with a D, man. We're going to get it one of these days.
Yeah, I know it, but it was. I was saying to him, I said, you don't really make much sense. You're in this boxing world, and then you're in this kind of like this major collector world, which normally doesn't fit. You wouldn't fit it.
Yeah.
And I said, it's just an astounding story. But tell us about your
I can
boxing.
see why you're impressed with him, though. I got to say this because I met him at the Tourist Money Never Done seminar that Pat Ramming had put on.
Okay.
And I remember him standing up and talking about the museum, and I said to myself, this fella's going to go somewhere.
Yeah,
He's just that type of, he makes that kind of impression. Yeah.
Now, tell us about your career as a boxer, and then I'm going to ask you to tell us about how you got into collecting. I get a little old now, so I know these stories I remember, but I don't know if I remember.
Yes. So I started boxing at the age, not at the age, but in 2013. I started at Strikers Boxing Club. That's underneath the head coach Ron Rogers. I boxed for the Bahamas, represented the Bahamas at many at the Olympic qualifier in Azerbaijan. Basically, I lost to Korea in Azerbaijan. And if I had win that fight, I would have had 2 more fights, and then I would have qualified for the Olympic qualifiers. And so I boxed, and I took a break for possibly a year until I made my transition to a professional athlete. So I'm still pursuing that career right now as a professional athlete. I have a fight coming up in July. And so I have a lot of things on my plate, and I'm trying to get everything on my plate now as I'm young.
And then let me tell you want to talk about persistence? Okay, well, there you go. That's the definition of it right there.
Yes.
Now, I want you also, because we're going to get into this very interesting thing about your collection item, and then we're going to talk items, and we're going to talk to Ulrich about because your role, Ulrich, the curator at the Central Bank of the Bahamas.
That's right. Yes,
which, by the way, I didn't even know they had a thing. So so that's already that's another thumbs up. And I'm going to tell you something very exciting that you may not even be aware of. So tell us, Israel, about your discovery that you wanted to be a collector and how that happened. This is the story with the coins that you told me? Yeah.
So basically, my mother, she got her first home at the age of 50. She was a single mother at the time.
Congratulations to her.
Yes, she had me when she was 40.
Yeah.
So that's another part. And so she got her first home when she was 50. We moved from Peter Street to another area, and I watched her struggle. Her struggle. Just how I'm in the radio station right now. I'm looking at the sign, say Kiss FM. If you guys was to come to our home, you would see conflict boxes. But if you used to physically touch those conflict boxes, they were empty. We were never poor, but we definitely were never rich. So we just was on the borderline of making it. Majority of our pay was maxed out for mortgage. And so I would cry as a kid, but after crying, I always look for a solution. And so one day she was going through her jewelry. We was in poor, I told you that. But she was going through her jewelry, and as the single kid, the last child that she has, I said, "What are these?" I touched it. And she said, "The old coins, put them back, they worth a lot of money." Old coins, they worth a lot of money? Well, we need more rocks around here. So I took the initiative. The oldest coin in the bag was a 1943 half penny. My father, what he used to do for me every year when I did well in school, he would give me $10 for an A, $5 for a B, $3 for a C. And one year I tried to get $1 for each D. He said no. So he jumped smart on me the following year, and he bought me a laptop. So I didn't get no money. I was a little upset, because we didn't even have no internet. No, I had to catch Wi-Fi from the neighbor. I wanted the money. But it's funny how things work. And so I took that laptop, and I took that old coin in 1943 off, and I didn't even know how to decipher coins. Now I'm in the process of being a numismatic scholar, so that should tell you something.
I don't even want to go into that way. That's
right? And so I saw that coin selling for like $9,000. I said,
What?
"Mom, we're rich." I called the company up in Texas. Spoke to one gentleman. He explained to me that the coin that I was looking at is not the coin that I have. Of course, my expectation plummeted because I wanted to help my mother out, And so, long story cut short, the coin that I had was a regular 1943 half penny. Due to the fact that we're a colony of Great Britain, we utilized their currency. The coin that I was looking at was a 1943 half penny from Australia. Very rare coin, low minchets, etc., etc. And so it evolved from there. I started collecting coins. I started to bring in coins for individuals like my business partner, Christopher Russell, bringing coins for like Crown Jewelers, Parkland Lux.
Really?
Meet people like our dear friend, who was my late mentor, John Moscow.
Yeah.
And so it just evolved. And then after that, I went into the Asian market. You have to expand. You know, I went into the Asian market dealing with Asian antiques, and I started to realize something. If something worth $500, the Chinese or the Asian culture, they would pay $1,500, $2,000. I was benefiting from that, but I wondered why. The reason why, because hundreds of years they were deprived of their culture. People would come into their country and they would take things away, all their porcelain, all their jade, all these different things. And so now that they have all the money, they buying back everything, and they don't care what they spend it for. They just want it. And so I realized I was doing the same, and hence I went into this new venture, which has been a year and a half now, and I'm here now on the Edfield Show promoting it.
So when Israel came to me,
Wow.
it's amazing how sometimes things kind of line up. They don't always work out the way you wanted. Like that coin didn't work out the way that you wanted it to work out, but it took you down a different line, right?
Yes.
He came to me and he had a bag full of things. And I said, Israel, you know, if you're going to get anyone interested in this stuff, you've got to catalog this stuff. You've got to have a catalog of what you have.
You'll find that striking right now. He'll tell you his part with the catalog right now.
Okay. And I said, you know, and then I started using words to him that he thought I would not know, but I only know because of my addiction to TV, namely Roadshow Antique.
Yes.
I said, you've got to have the provenance for it. You've got to have all of this stuff to make sure people feel that it's authentic. But you've got to be able to have a catalog, and it's got to, you know, it isn't always appealing. What's appealing to you and what's exciting to you isn't really always exciting to other people.
Yes.
But I'm going to throw something at you, you being the curator. You know, the central bank is about to engage in moving from the current location it is. And I was on the committee to look at the new architecture. And the first thing I thought of when we were talking about this stuff, I said, well, what's going to happen with this building? And immediately I thought, this has got to become a museum. And I have discussed with the PM, I'm not afraid to say it wide open, because he's even now discussed it on the air. I think you may have heard him. That the central bank, the present central bank, when they vacate that building, will become a museum of sorts, whether it's the Bahamas History Museum or the Historical Museum of the Bahamas, whatever. Space will be given for the kind of thing you're doing in that space. And that's a wonderful space in the middle of our historical district.
Absolutely. Yes. And may I remind you that the central bank is since 36 years one of the oldest cultural institutions too. We started in 1985, 1986 with the high school competition. We still are doing this. We did the open call from very early on, which, you know, again caters to the whole of the Bahamas. We have these shows always in October and in November. Since 36 years.
I know.
And the central bank now boasts a collection of about 500 pieces by Bahamian artists, which are mainly displayed in the headquarters, but then as well on loan in embassies and consulates around the world. And so basically Antonius Roberts was the first curator for many, many years. And then they had temporary Heino Schmidt, then became the curator for a while, Angelica Wallace-Whitfield. And then the bank decided, because as well, looking at the new building, which then will have a beautiful state-of-the-art gallery, a theater. We will commission art and architecture projects to Bahamian artists. They said, okay, we want a curator who is now here really 9 to 5. You know, I'm there like every day. And when I met Israel, that was last year in December, and the whole vetting process still happened. It was a rigorous process, I'm telling you that. I met Israel, and he showed me the catalog.
The catalog. The catalog. So this is score one. I help you score one.
Yeah.
Because I got a phone call from Dionysius de Aguilar, and he said, Uli, there's this guy.
He doesn't give up.
He collects coins and banknotes, and he wants to
Political buttons.
You deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I did not know what to expect. And then again, because 22 years old, he started collecting when he was 11.
Right.
Used his lunch money to buy then the first coins. And then he showed me this catalog, and I looked at him and I said, "Who did this catalog for you?" Because it was like a Sotheby's, like a Christie's auction catalog with like all the the lots with the provenance, with the captions, with dates. I mean, really, it was done. Like you should do these things.
I'm laughing in the corners. You
the reason is because you missed the part. The missed part that I want you to hear is when he came to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, Israel, you can't come with a bag full of stuff. Yeah. You've got to create a catalog. That's what I said to him. I said, once you create that catalog, then people will notice you. They'll know you're serious. And that's how he ended up doing that catalog.
Now we on catalog 2, boy.
We on catalog 2, my brother.
We on catalog 3. You know what they say, 3 strikes, you're out. So you know.
By the way, this is the gentleman who, I sent him one day, because, he's not, if you want, you're talking about a pimple. This pimple doesn't go away, okay? So he comes back.
It's a good pressure.
It's a good, and he will send me things, notices. So finally I said to him, listen, I got these dollar bills, these old Bahamian, dollar bills. I have everything. I got from the 50-cent piece, the bill, up to the 100. So I sent him copies. He says he looked at them. He looked at the dates. There were probably about, $600 worth of stuff in terms of the value, face value. He says, I'll give you $4,500 for those.
Did he buy it?
Well, no, I didn't sell it.
Still waiting to buy it. Hopefully I'll buy it so directly.
Okay? So this is the serious kind of thing that's going on here.
See, the thing, what I did with Mr. Ed Fields just then was I educated him to the numismatic value. So basically, the face value was $100, $1965 $100, but the numismatic value was like anywhere between $5,500. And so the thing is with coins, the same thing. You have face value. If you have a $100 coin, the $100 gold coin, the face value is $100. The numismatic value, depending on the gold content, it could be anywhere between $2,000. And then the spot value, which is melt value, would just be what it is in gold. And so,
and then the rarity, I guess. Right?
Yes. So the rarity and the scarcity and all those other rarities are wrapped up in the numismatic value, and so that's my specialty.
On the banknotes, you always have 3 signatures, and even then the combination of the signatures can then make a banknote more valuable than another.
When you collect these, are you then selling them to other buyers? So you can buy it for $4,500 and sell it for upwards of whatever, right?
See, the thing is, that's what I was doing. See, that's what I was doing back in before I decided to create the museum. That's when I said I realized that I was deprived in my own country, because international collectors, they are, it's like caviar. Our banknotes are like caviar to them. Whereas the Bahamas is the most sought after out of all the British colonies, and out of all the British colonies, they're sought after. And so international...
Why is that?
Due to the fact that it's many things with, our geographical location to America, our money is on par with the U.S., and then you got to realize that in tourism industry, and he kicked in around the 1970s. So banknotes pre-1965, the average person didn't see those type of banknotes unless you were maybe in a good job or in higher society. So the international communities, they're well educated about this, and so they attract them and they create like typesets. You know what I'm saying? They want all the combinations of signatures. Like when Sir Stafford Sands was on the Minister of Finance, which was for a short time, they won this one turnover from Dollinson's to all different type of things.
Just recently, like a month ago, was an auction in Texas. And one of the Bahamian banknotes, which one was it, Israel?
It was several. It was a lot.
But the one which then went for $12,000?
Yes, that was the Bahamas' first £5. In 1869, they produced 2 banknotes. It was a £5 and a £1, and the international community was going crazy. The reason why was because we know that banknote existed, but however, we never saw a photo. And so when one of the top collectors passed away and his collection came up for sale, that came out, and they was just bidding like crazy.
Mr. Vogt, I'm sorry, you're going to say something?
Well, I just wanted to connect to the catalog one more time, because basically what we then decided was, okay, if that really materializes and I get the job as the curator, the first show is that we are then taking what is now on paper and what you saw in a bag before, that we take it to the next level and that we create a mock-up museum. Yeah, so that you see the steps, right, from having this all over the place. Then already you have the catalog, and now we were able for the first time to visualize this exhibition, and the people they love it. And it's not just the banknotes, right? We have one of my favorites are license plates. Yeah. License plates from across the Bahamas over decades. And people are pointing at it and say, oh, yeah, I remember that. And I was a boy when we had this color.
One of the things that I have constantly said, and the reason why I say it, and I think I've said it to Israel before, I would watch Roadshow Antiques, and I would get a feeling of despair, because I saw where these places, mostly the U.S., of course, but they have one in Britain, where these people were able to have some sort of connection to the past, to the things they produced, their banknotes, their art, their jewelry, etc., and that we're not a big production country. So we don't have furniture that we produced, 500 years ago and cars, etc., right? But this young man, and by the way, I don't know if you know of another collector, and I'm not going to say his name on the air, I'll say it off the air, who have just this wide range of things that will blow you away. Butterflies. Okay? A collection of butterflies that blew me away. Wow. Old cars. Bottles. I don't know if you collect bottles. This guy, let me tell you a story. This guy would go and camp with someone who's working actually for me now on an old estate. They call them estates, but a house. Yes. And what they would do is go, again, to where they dump the garbage. They used to have, in each home, they would have like their own personal landfills. And they would camp out on weekends just to excavate the landfill and the things they would find in those landfills. Wow. This is a local guy doing this. So, I'm glad that you two have met, because now, hopefully, this will get people, Bahamians, interested in collecting their past.
Yes, well, and it already happens, and actually, what you are mentioning right now is an important part. I think Israel is well aware that some areas he's leading with the banknotes, for example, but others, they can use some more, development. They can expand, and so there is this call. That whoever, can contribute or likes to meet Israel, can come and look at it and maybe, add something to the collection.
You talked about the vetting process being very vigorous. Do you have a lot of Bahamians who are coming in and trying to get their collections put before the central bank? What's that process like?
Well, as I said, between the open call and the high school competition, I think we cover a wide range of young aspiring artists, and I see some work just now. I just hung a very, very early work by Gillian Blade. Lillian Blade. Lillian Blade.
Atlanta Airport, she's in.
She has this amazing work at Atlanta, and now she did a commission for Bahama for their Trade Winds 2.0. And Lillian had one of the first works ever in one of the high school competitions there, and Alan Wallace, same thing, very, very early works, and Kishan Monroe, and the bank is now following these artists and the careers. So we are actually extremely open. Right. We invite the talent, and the junior and the high school competition is always a great success.
We got to take a break, and we'll come right back.
I'm sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here, along with Ulrich Vogas and Mr. Israel Johnson. Israel, don't worry, your name hard to pronounce too, okay? Because not too many Israels around here, okay?
No.
But again, want to highlight the fact that I was talking to Ulrich off air, and I forgot to tell you about the other collector I know, who for this is kind of the first time that the central bank has gone into something other than quote unquote traditional art, sculpture, art, ceramics, etc. This is now more on the collectibles and historical side of things, isn't it?
Yes, I mean when I pitched my vision for the central bank for the next 3-4 years, I said I'd like to widen it into like the whole culture, and culture is architecture, it's design, it's literature, it's even culinary arts, and I have to say the bank, the governor's deputy governor, Ian Fernander, head of administration, are extremely supportive. And you mentioned it. The plan is to break ground for the new building already in November this year, and
that's already just in itself. That's exciting.
Yeah, and the building is going to be exciting too. I have to say this. And then there are these conversations. Yes, what will happen with the current building, and it goes all in the direction that yes, it will definitely be another place for culture.
I think. And we're going to go back to Israel in a sec. When you look at the central bank's building, the central bank's building is itself a piece of art. And, of course, the central bank owns those outbuildings that are the old Bahamian homes. And they have courtyards and things that the average person doesn't even realize exist. I'm sure you've seen in Israel. So when you look at the fact that it's surrounded by Trinity Church, the Kirk, Cathedral, the government house is right next door. It's steeped in history just in its environment.
Mr. Edfields love central bank sound like.
What's that?
I said Mr. Edfields love central bank.
I like what it could become. And when you look at a city where you have juxtapositions of old and new architecture, the central bank was kind of like the first kind of modern piece of architecture in our downtown.
And it is indeed a great building. And the concept, like the European concept, which then has been adopted in the U.S. of the Kunsthalle. Like a Kunsthalle is then a place where changing exhibitions are happening, like the PS1.
And even the grounds, the entrance lends to having a sculpture garden, that type of thing. And of course, not too far away is the art gallery, the Aguilar Gallery, Hillside Museum. So it just creates that type of thing. And Israel, I'm going to say this to you. Yes. You and I have had our long debates.
Of course.
Okay? But it's going to be a very, very proud day in my life when I see how, your, I'm going to say this, leadership in this field, because there are a lot of collectors out there, and I'm sure you know that. But you have been just so relentless.
Have to.
In your zeal and your passion to make sure, and I'm going to say this, and I know that there's a monetary benefit to it, but I never get the feeling that that's his focus. No. His focus is to show people that this stuff exists.
See, the thing is, yes, it's to let them know that the Bahamas has an history, and that our history still exists, and that it's with us, and that it's tangible. And so the whole objective of my museum exhibition, and now it's starting to become our museum, because as Bahamian people become involved, they can contribute as well. So our museum, because it's all of us, our museum, is to make our history and culture tangible. I believe that when you want to learn about early politics, don't just look at a book. A book is good to a certain extent. When I've been to Azerbaijan, Argentina, Ecuador, all around the world, I was able to learn about who those people were and see some of those people sometimes. If you go into Egypt, you can see them with me. But when you come to the Bahamas, you have to learn that pirates used to be here. Why is that? When we have pieces of eights and cannonballs and all these other rest of good objects which are on display right now at the central bank, come Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m., they're there. And this is our history. Why you have to learn about buttons that maybe Sir Lyndon Pillin or this other gentleman and other gentlemen's wear when you can actually see these actual buttons and one that may hit home?
Remember the one when you said that? You said
Can I handle it? Let me handle it.
You handle it.
When you can look at a button from 1982, monarchy button, when a former governor general was then campaigning in that area, Sir Orville Turnquest. That's our history, and it's tangible. You can see that actual button. Even go back further to the UBP, Stay Free. That you can see that button because it's there. Gold coins, banknotes, and so I like to call it the Kong salad approach. That's what I call it. That means how is Kong salad? I don't want to use the word mix up, but all the ingredients are put together. And then when you finish, you have a delicacy is produced. And that's what this exhibition is letting people know that we have a history. And I want to let people even know. Thankful to Miss Charlotte Albury and the Knowles family. So there are notes. The first Olympic gold medalist for the Bahamas, he won in 1964 in Tokyo in sailing. His medal is on display at the exhibition because they support our initiative. And this is the first time. Mr. Ulrich, what is it?
It's for the very first time.
For the very first time.
Yeah.
You can see our postage stamps.
And it's right next to Elijah Obed's memorabilia, when he became world champion.
And he has pictures of King Edward and the signatures of King Edward.
The Duchess of Windsor. He abdicated the throne in 1936. He gave up control of 2/3 of the world population. I hope I'm not offending no one. You talk about individuals who don't want to give up power in a 7/21. This guy gave up the whole throne for a woman that is what he loved. And if you talk to scholars, they'll say maybe he was a Nazi sympathizer. But the fact of the matter, he wanted to marry a divorcee. And they wasn't having that in Great Britain. But they sent him here as far from Great Britain as possible. He became the governor of the Bahamas, and we have actual autographs that are on display. When he was there, letters from when he sent from Government House talking about how the aviation ministry is going to evolve due to the fact of World War II. But you can tell Mr. Diagla, see that one. I know you're going to take a lake into that. But that's what it's about. It's about playing on the memory of people and showing this history and making it tangible. And that is the approach, and that is our approach.
Well, I tell you, I'm now to the point of sitting and watching Roadshow Antiques and trying to actually guess values. Yes. But now there's nothing going to make me prouder. Yes. Imagine if, Rogan Smith, we can get to a point where even if it's only for a half hour, people can start bringing to Mr. Israel Johnson or Mr. Ulrich Voges or others from around the world a TV show where they can bring artifacts that they've had from their family.
Yes.
And say, I found this, and that person can say, this pieces of eight, or this piece of eight, or I don't even know how you say it, dates back in Spain in such and such, and how it got to the Bahamas and how it was sunk, and we can see that and feel our history.
It actually happened today. Somebody came to see the show and then asked about the Spanish silver coins and said, "Oh, my father has about 24 of them," and he asked about the value, which actually I couldn't answer, and I said I'll ask you.
Israel should have been around at the time, but
yes. These things are priceless, right?
Some objects are invaluable, of course, but some things, everything has monetary value, but some things like the pieces of eight, they're due to the fact if they have the provenance attached, like most of the pieces of eight that we have there from the Marvelous off of Grand Bahama that's sunk in 1658 and 16 feet of water. That's like $2 billion in treasure right there. That's what my dear friend and late mentor was interested in. But those coins are maybe 2,500 to 3,000 each. If you look at a regular pieces of eight that does not have the shipwreck provenance attached to it, you look at possibly just a $600 to $700 coin retail. But if you look at the melt value on it is maybe less than an ounce of silver, so $16. And it's many different factors that produce monetary value.
Do you see why I said to you, this is one of the most interesting people you'll meet? You don't meet 22-year-old boxers who are going to tell you about the Marvelous or whatever the name is that sunk in 16 feet of water.
Yes.
Okay. And what I said to him, Rogan Smith, which was to me more important, was that I want other young people to see what you can do when you decide there's something other than just your own circumstance.
Of course.
Okay. One coin, okay, one coin sparked Israel Johnson's interest. One coin,
Yes.
okay, and look where he is today. And there's so many other things that can do for young people to be involved rather than the wrong thing.
See, and that's another aspect of who I am that I want people to know, is that when they take a look at Israel Johnson, looks can be deceiving, of course.
I was about to
You
say
know,
that.
looks
You
can be
don't- you don't strike
deceiving.
me.
But however, if you look at Israel Johnson's police record, he's clean. He's pearly white. You know, I've been to every state, most of every state in the United States, and traveled all around the world. You can't get into certain states with no police record. But however, that doesn't mean that Israel Johnson was always on the right track. I was stabbed several times. I was operating in different activities. But however, I made a decision where in life that I wanted to go. And being able to sit with certain people like John Moscow and mentor me and being able to incite things into me that showed me the way. You know, sometimes I tell the story about, imagine being in Argentina, not in Argentina. Yeah, it is Argentina, the Pan American Hotel on the 25th floor. They're giving you your fruit salad in a silver bowl. And I know because when I flip it over, it's saying 925 sterling silver. I'm like, wow, that's real silver. And less than 10 hours later, you somewhere back in the trenches in Nassau. You know, mosquitoes coming in through the window. You know, me asking you why your clothes on the floor. You know, it makes you want to aspire to have a better life. Mm-hmm. And so I was blessed. And I still am blessed. Mm-hmm. You know, I was afforded the opportunity to be able to experience both sides. Mm-hmm. And I realized that the route that I'm going is the better route, and it's the longevity route. And if there's any in the young people that's underneath who can hear my voice right now, I'll tell them that longevity and staying on the right track is where to go, man. I'm telling you, it's sweeter on that side. It's sweeter.
So that's why I told you, and I'm going to remember the word. It's going to pop up. It's going to pop. Both of you and I can't remember the word.
It's a D word. I know that for sure. You have a couple of syllables because that was a big one.
Yeah.
I said that word was almost as big as I was told Mr. Edfield was. That was a big word, boy.
But I said to this guy, you know, it's a story, right? And I'm sure you're enjoying the story, Ulrich.
Exhibition is as much about the artifacts we are showing there as it is the story of Israel Johnson. And that is a story, and young Bahamians are listening to this story because, you know, it's told by a peer. You know, it's not like some scholar or some professor. You know, it is, and this is exciting. And we're taking now this exhibition, and you know, we're really proud that we're able to assist him there to make further contacts and to look into where can we now find a more permanent location, so that this can be accessible and doesn't go back into a storage, because there is a beauty, there is a magic in like seeing the things. Some of them you can touch. That same building, you know?
that you got to be, that's going to be the permanent. You want sooner or later, I can guarantee you.
Plan, you know, after this is done.
Well, we are making some good progress in making contacts with the stakeholders on the East Bay Street, because we feel that this is the place where, you know, we all agree we need development. You know, we have this is a great access point to the tourists. We, you know, so and we want to revitalize these area. You know, so using this exhibition to make all these appointments, inviting people to see the show.
I said to Mr. Johnson, you know, he was very fervent about getting an exhibition in the hotel, and I said to him, look, this doesn't belong in a hotel. This is a smack dab in the middle of the city somewhere, place where there's always access, where there's no limitation on access, where you don't have to worry about expensive rents and it's for the people.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, by the way, how many people are you getting coming through the exhibition?
We have people that are coming. We had an opening on April 17th, and people are coming every day. You see what I'm saying? The only thing I'm sure of right now is that people is not there now because it's closed. But people are coming, and it's growing, and it's running until May 24th. And like I said,
you're going to extend it? Yeah, we extended it for another week.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good. And we're satisfied. And like I said, people are learning that the Bahamas has a hit. Oh, I have the sitters. And it's free.
Yeah.
It's free. You don't have to pay to come in and see Duran Nose Gold Medal, which has been, and this is the first time it's ever been on public display. The straw briefcase, and that's another thing. When JFK came here in 1962, he stayed at E.P. Taylor House, the founder of Life at Key. I believe it was a publicity stunt to promote Life at Key. That's just my opinion. But anyhow, the whole world was looking down on the Bahamas. That's the first time a president of the United States ever came to the Bahamas of official visit, John F. Kennedy. And they met 6 times, but the Bahamas was the last time. Him and the British Prime Minister, they stayed in Life at Key. Long story cut short, E.B. Taylor, the founder of Life at Key, gave him a straw briefcase. A sense you talk about Bahamian pride. He was a billionaire from the 60s. Imagine what he is now. He may be a trillionaire if he was still alive. He gave JFK this briefcase. Our company purchased it back in 2017. JFK was known to only own 3 briefcases. The first briefcase sold for $700,000 the first time it came up for auction. The second briefcase that was gifted to him by his wife in 1953 sold for $178. And it's a little briefcase. We wouldn't disclose the value, but it's in Central Bank right now, safe facility. But that briefcase was gifted to JFK. And the thing is, don't take Israel's word for it. You can look and see the certificate of authenticity from the same company that where the first briefcase sold for $700,000. And then even further, you can look and you can see videos of when JFK was here in the Bahamas. Because I know that, I don't want to brag, I know that I'm a rare individual. So young people like me, the majority of them are not attracted to this history. So I need to make it enticing for the
make
younger.
Make it cool.
So what we did was we extracted all the videos and all the pictures. And so when you come there on a nice little laptop, preferably Apple, so it's a good brand, you can see that briefcase on display, and you can hear the audio and visual, and you can hear JFK talking and telling his audience, thank you, my Bahama people, and how the world's look brighter now that they're in the island of the sun. And it's things like that that brings our history to life.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Good stuff.
What's the next step? We got 3 more minutes. What's the next step? You're going to do the exhibition.
Yes.
Well, I want to ask first, Ulrich. We've now, I think, in my mind, because I certainly only saw it for the first time when I saw this young man. Actually, I'd seen it one time before, and that's this other collector I'm going to tell you about. But I don't want to disclose his name without his permission. Is it opens up a whole new thing, okay? And to the extent that you now are aware of this potential, what are you going to do to exploit? And I use the word exploit, but to explore what more you can get out of that.
Well, you mentioned that the central bank is the custodian of the balcony house and the veranda house, so that already shows their interest in, promoting things beyond the walls of the bank. So I see our role here and hope that we can again assist him with our network, with my network, to really find this next location. We do have some creative ideas. It might not be, that this is the non plus ultra. It might be another step, but we will definitely promote this Vanguard collection further and see that this will be accessible, stay accessible for the Bahamian people.
Okay. Yes. My good friend Israel, I know you can still be hitting me up on that on the WhatsApp.
Of course.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
You stuck with it. You didn't give up. And we had some heated discussions.
Because you told me that when I walk at your office, I might be mad at myself. I wasn't mad. I listened and said, but the catalog, right?
That's right. You got that catalog. All right.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, listen, thanks for coming by. We're going to follow this up some more.
Yes.
And all the best to you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, buddy.
Thank you for having us.
All right.